We're here today with Sah D'Simone, yogi, mystic, and artist, and also IIN graduate and IIN live event speaker. Hi, Sah.
Hi.
So that was a really great introduction that you did today, a great exercise that you did today with people. How did you find that moving your body like that can really release so much energy and change people's states?
You know, to be honest, I was just posting these videos on social media of me dancing, and then someone from Deepak Chopra's team said, I want this thing. I want you to teach this thing for us. So I didn't even know what was really happening inside of me and how what people were experiencing when they were watching those videos. And so I kind of had like a timeline, a deadline to create something to offer to Deepak Chopra's retreat. And that really was like, what is happening over here? What are you actually doing with the movement and the breath and the mantra and the meditation? What's happening when you combine all these tools together? So it was kind of like random, you would say, but nothing is random. So it was just kind of like this amazing, beautiful synchronicity of the universe saying, people need this because you need it. And I think one thing that I've realized through this process is that in a culture that is pushing down alcohol into the world, that is like societal norm, first time I danced sober was a really awkward experience. But I felt so alive. I felt so in my body. I felt so embodied. So I think this practice is a really good way for people to feel at home in their bodies without intoxicants.
Right. So it feels like it happened for you. Oftentimes people are searching, what's my next step? Where is it going to go? How do I do this? They're working so hard to figure out what their niche is and what their brand is. And sometimes if you just step back and say, what's working? It happens for you.
Thank you for that, Jim, because that is something that I constantly remind people. It's focus on your well-being, focus on taking care of your mind, taking care of your body, taking care of your heart, and then your dharma will make itself known to you. And that's exactly what happened to me, for me, through me,
So there's something else that you said. It's the first time you did something sober, right? So, there's two things there that I want to get into. One is, that's a change, and people often are making change in their lives, and you had to do a change, and it's often fearful and nerve-wracking. But it also goes to, you weren't always this.
No.
Right? Yeah, you weren't always this. So
Exactly.
what was your path from there to here?
Oh, that's a good question. IIN was a big catalyst of it too. I was working in the fashion industry. I was the creative director of this international fashion magazine. And in the fall of 2012, I left the magazine. And in the spring of 2014, I went to India the first time. And maybe a year later, I found IIN. And it still took me maybe a couple more years until I decided to be completely sober. And it was through the process of leaving the fashion industry and going to India, Nepal, and just studying, practicing, and then finding IIN. I always have to remind everybody that it was through this incredible school that I've been able to really cultivate courage and confidence to step into the world and say, I know some things that need to be experienced. One thing that I like to say, it's taken a lot of effort to present myself and to feel effortless. But still, it's a daily practice,
Right.
It takes time to become Sah.
Yeah. People often say your message, and your message, your magic, or those kind of things. But you really
100%.
took your past experience,
Yeah.
what you learned from it, and brought it to your present self.
Yeah. I mean, I've battled and won so many battles with addiction, depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation. And it's what you said, my mess and my pain has become my message.
Yeah.
And that's really, I think what I shared on stage today, it's live with integrity and everything else will fall into place,
Yes. What was that mantra that we were all saying?
There was a couple. One is I'm open to miracles.
Yes.
And the other one is I refuse to give up on myself. Those two things have been like the backbone to me, because for my own integration and healing and transformation. Because I think when you experience suicidal ideation or depression or addiction or anxiety, any of these three heavy hitters, it's really easy to give up on ourselves because we can't trust our bodies, we can't trust our mind, and our hearts are closed. So I refuse to give up on myself. It's something that I whisper to myself in the mirror regularly. And I like to create these, positive affirmations, but the traditional word for it is a mantra. They're short and sweet and powerful, and they really get you to be like, I refuse to give up on myself. Wow. That really
Yes.
moves you.
Yes.
All of a sudden you're like, okay, I will not give up on myself. It was amazing to see the entire crowd chanting that out loud. I was like, wow.
It starts to take hold of you. You're embodying it because you've been saying it. And now it's taken hold of you.
That's right.
But I refuse to give up on myself when all these people have negative self-talk. And oftentimes in your brain is programmed to tell you what you can't do and that you look badly. So that really affected me. I loved it. It just resonated. And I think I get a lot of calls from coaches saying they don't have the confidence to see clients. They have imposter syndrome. And what should they say to themselves?
This is so good. I just want to say one thing. Imposter syndrome is something that I still experience regularly. Doesn't matter what stage I'm entering into, what kind of podcast I'm doing, who I'm around, that comes up. I want you to first, one thing I want to remind people is that the way I see it, the way I've experienced is imposter syndrome is like a welcome to the mega boss club.
Right.
It's like you're stepping out of the comfort zone. You're being stretched. So if you're experiencing imposter syndrome, good job. That means you're creating impact. That means you're helping people. That means you're helping yourself. And then another one, you just really have to, I think it really comes down to, if you're living in integrity, if your intentions align with your words and they align with your actions, you have nothing to worry, And then don't shame yourself or judge yourself when you do fall off and you do some of your old habits. But it's what I shared earlier on stage too. It's like, how quickly can you bring yourself back into your center? How quickly can you come back into living in integrity, So if you're living in integrity and you're being vulnerable, and vulnerability is a trait of authentic people, then you have nothing to worry about, And the right people will find you. As a coach, what really helped me was making friends with my depression, making friends with my anxiety, making friends with my addiction. And when I befriended these shadow aspects of my psyche, of my life, then it was like I had no secrets.
Right.
I could enter the world and not feel like a fraud and not feel like someone's coming out to out me. I think we have this inner punisher that the imposter syndrome kind of tickles, and all of a sudden you feel like, I need to be punished for feeling this way, for thinking this way.
Right.
I'm not qualified enough. I should be punished for that. How dare, I come into a stage and speak. But if you bring your shadow into the light, if you integrate your hardship with your current self, I think something miraculous happens where there's nothing to be afraid of, Like, live like an open book. And then that's like magnetic for people.
Yeah.
That's how I built the community. Authenticity is a quality of magnetism,
Yeah. I literally just thought of 10 other questions that I could ask you based on that. So I want to talk about shadow self.
Yes.
I want to talk about trigger.
Yes.
No, but what we'll say is that it's not about not getting triggered.
Exactly.
It's not about not being the best all the time.
Exactly.
Right? It's really about being able to quickly come back into the person you want to be, right?
That's it.
And does that mean that you can't be ashamed of that shadow self? I hope everybody goes and looks up shadow self.
Yeah. The shadow are the aspects of our biography that we have unintentionally allowed to dictate our story. We all have trauma. We all have pain. We've all been neglected, rejected, trauma. I mean, we've all have experienced all of it. Like, look at scientific research. So it's integrating those parts. It's not allowing those parts to dictate our present reality. It's allowing these parts to be a part of, not the entire definition of your biography, my biography, everyone who's watching.
Right.
Not being triggered will not happen. In Buddhist psychology, we say that will still happen even moments before you're becoming enlightened. But the important part is to just, as you said, it's like, how quickly can you find your center? How quickly can you come back into the present moment? How quickly can you see the leaves dancing in the wind? How quickly can you feel the air, touching your skin?
That's what's real.
Exactly.
right?
How
Not
quickly
what
can
you're
you
creating.
see poetry in life again?
Yeah.
Because there's beauty in chaos, but that takes a trained mind. That takes a really concentrated mind. And in a world of social media, in a world of distraction, it's really hard to concentrate our minds. And people are wanting a quick fix. They want triggers to be gone, so they put up walls and they avoid, they reject, and they tuck away. But the truth is, in the spiritual healing work, we have to remember that 50% of the work happens between our mind, our body, and our hearts, and 50% of it happens in community, which means the yogi it's now tasked to leave the monastery, to leave the cave. You've done enough self-work, now go out and test your material, you know? See how calibrated you are, going out with your parents, you know? I think there's a quote from Ram Dass that says, check how enlightened, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he says, see how enlightened you are, go spend time with your parents.
Exactly.
And, oh my God, 100% for me too. But you know, test your materials. See like which environments have been avoiding, which people have been avoiding because you're afraid of being triggered, you know?
And people put pressure on themselves because they think they shouldn't feel triggers. And
Yeah.
I love letting people know that you can feel your triggers. Yeah, feel them.
That's right.
Everyone has them, even the people that you look up to most. So you talk about community. IIN has a large community of people. How important is it to join a community or get in community with people like that?
Vital. Literally vital. It's like the premise of my third book is the importance of friendship. We get, hurt in relationship and we heal in community. It's if we understand that the community is the backbone for health and wellness. Look at the oldest living people on planet Earth. It's this in Sardinia, this tiny little island outside of Italy, and two of the indicators of longevity and wellness is being integrated into society, meaning know the name of your barista, know the name of the person who cleans your house, know the name of the mail person. So that's social integration into your community. And the second, have close friends. Be part of a community. Do you have someone that you can reach out to if you're struggling financially? If you're going through chemotherapy, do you have somebody that can drive you to the hospital? When my mom is going through cancer, it was shocking to see how many people in the hospital were there alone,
right,
with the TV blasting.
Yeah.
And in every chemotherapy session my mom has, we all, like, one of us shows up. I'll fly from LA, my brother will fly from New York. My sister came back from Nepal. We're all trying to be there to support. So communities it's literally the backbone of wellness and a great way for you to test your material, for you to actually see how healed you are, see how therapized you are, see how well you are. Go spend time in community, So it's two sides. Go test your material, but also go share the burden. You don't have to go through life alone. Your suffering is not yours alone. Your happiness is not yours alone. We really do need this to have a mirror to the things that we need to work on ourselves, and someone to remind us that, hey, you're a good person. You're doing a good job, And unless we have community, we're not gonna have that mirror. I think we can try to do this by ourselves. But through the research that I've been doing for this new book, you really realize that it's better together.
Yeah. I hear, and I talk to a lot of students, and even at this event that we're at, they're here together and they've met lifelong friends through IIN.
Yeah.
So it's really amazing. So people go to IIN and they're doing so much more than becoming health coaches now. They're starting products, they're starting services, their courses, all sorts of things. But they're still health coaching and they're health coaches at heart. How important do you think health coaches are in the world today?
Oof, I think it's the way that we can change the world, because it's a really intense program. I'm not going to say it's not. It's like I did the year-long program, and the amount of information that you are given through the program, and the level of your curiosity is directly linked to your level of liberation. Your desire to be free, how free you want to be is directly linked to how curious you are. And because I was disciplined to feel better and to become a better person, I devoured the material in the program. So for everyone that wants to become a health coach, make time in your schedule. but also take it slow, take it easy. The program is intense and there's so much information, but follow through in the curriculum. Allow your curiosity to really lead you, because there's so many things that you can do. I mean, look what I've done with my life after finishing the program. I was coaching for 2 years, and I realized that the aspect of the primary foods that I loved most was the spiritual, that I felt really called to teaching, really called to researching, and really making my life's mission around was the spirituality component.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So what are you up to now?
Oof.
What are some of the projects, or what's really calling you now? Some of the projects
So
you're working
this third book about friendship, the podcast, the Spiritually Sassy show that I get to have conversations. You were on the
on? Yep,
show.
I was.
We get to have conversations, vulnerable conversations, inspiring conversations with people from all walks of life. I just finished developing an oracle deck about paradox. I think in our
Exciting.
society, we have a really hard time with paradox, with contradicting truths existing together, that someone can have bad behavior but still be a good person. That is just like not possible. We allow behavior to be the self. And that doesn't give anyone a free pass to harm other people, but to be in a state of harming constantly. But it's just a way for us to enter into a state of forgiveness and to help each other heal. So the oracle deck is something that I'm really excited about.
Good.
And
I want to read the book. I can't wait for that to come out.
lots of little fun things, retreats. And later this year, I'm going to go back to Nepal, to Kathmandu, to do a 30-day silent meditation retreat.
Wow.
Which I'm really excited about too. Yeah.
If you were to sum up IIN in 1 or 2 words, what would that be for you?
That's a good question. I think a catalyst for transformation.
That's fantastic. Okay. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.